Hello everyone, it's Dylan from YuGiOh Everything, and welcome back to another YuGiOh 7's episode review. This time we are going over episode 20 of YuGiOh 7's, the duel between Mimi Itachi and Yoshio Itachi. Mother versus son, only the second time we have ever seen a mother versus son duel in Yu-Gi-Oh! The first being, of course, Yoko versus Yuya from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. And generally speaking, what did I think about this episode? I absolutely loved this episode, to be completely honest. For whatever reason, I don't know if anyone else felt this way. To me, this was one of the more emotional and impactful episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's thus far, and maybe it's because it kind of related to me on a bit of a personal level, and I feel like this episode has the potential to probably relate to a lot of people, because it's all about chasing your dreams and trying to find your path in life. And at the end of the day, there are so many friends of mine that are kind of in this place where they're like stuck. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's people watching this video that probably feel that way. And so when you see Yoshio in this episode, you know, talking to his teacher about not being able to write the part of the essay where it's like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because he genuinely doesn't know. That's something that when you're young, you're told you have all the time in the world to figure things out, and then you blink your eyes and you're 25 years old, 26 years old, and you can still feel that way. And I know plenty of people, including myself to a degree, that still feels that way, that uncertainty, that unknown. And it's a horrible feeling of unknown, of what you want to do with your life and what you're gonna make your living out of. And I really do have so much envy for the people that have a set path in life and are very happy with what they are doing and have, you know, really solid goals. And I know when you're young, you kind of have this mindset that is what your life is going to be. But as you get older, you know, things start becoming more blurry, and maybe something you were passionate about for 10 or 15 years, you no longer really enjoy. And then if you lose enjoyment in that, you know, what do you do with your life? Because you're not a kid anymore. And so, of course, these are things that you think about when you get older. Yoshio still has that young innocence about him, but this entire episode was about him creating his road, opening the door, as Rook would say, to finding his path. And it was just an episode that really kind of hit home for me, especially the maternal and motherly instinct of Mimi in this episode being a very good mom. And you can say what you want about Mimi, but her stock went up tenfold for me in this episode, because the actions of Yoshio said everything you need to know about Mimi Itachi. Right, Mimi at this point had been kind of a joke character, and the big joke of her character was the fact that she looked so young, even though she was this 37-year-old woman. But the fact that Yoshio fought so hard for her in this duel and in this episode, and at one point, you know, he passes out from exhaustion at the end of this duel. Like, he takes a beating from Mimi's monsters and from Mimi's deck, and at one point it looks like he's not going to be able to carry on, and he just gets up and he says, you know what, my mom, who is the biggest inspiration to me, has fought her whole life and worked tirelessly and effortlessly to give me a good life and to give me Neapolitan spaghetti on a daily basis, which obviously was his gimmick from his debut episode. And the fact that Yoshio is fighting so hard for his mother says all you need to know about how Mimi is as a human and how she is as a person. And that was another thing that I related to really well, because Mimi is just an absolute workhorse. And there's so many weeks that go by where I feel like I'm not the best maybe friend to certain people, because I'm just working so much between my actual job and between, you know, doing YouTube, which I love doing, streaming, which I love doing. You know, there's so much time that goes into work stuff that sometimes I don't really take personal time for myself. And when Yoshio was going over what Mimi does and how hard your life is as a parent, most likely a single parent, I mean, it's definitely implied that the dad probably isn't in the picture. I can relate to Mimi. I can relate to that work ethic and that drive to keep working and, work 16-hour days, work 8 hours at one job, and then work 8 hours streaming and making video content, and then sleeping for maybe 4 or 5 hours and being tired. I feel like that's every a lot of 20-year-olds mindset in life, where you sleep for 5 hours and you're working for maybe 19 or 20 hours around the clock every single day. And so the amount of respect, because I've been in those shoes, that I have for Mimi now is unquestionable. And I just felt this was an episode that really hit home for me in so many different ways. And I loved seeing the dynamic between mother versus son in this episode. I have a very good relationship with my mom even, and my mom has been a massive supporter of me my entire life. And so even from that perspective of YuGiOh idolizing his mother and her work ethic and chasing after her dreams, that's something that I can relate to as well. And I just felt like this was, again, one of the more just personable episodes for me with this show and with YuGiOh in general. Of course, the main aspect here is that Mimi is dueling for Neil's team. Mimi is also going after her dreams of being at the top of the Goha ladder. And let me say this, when the show is all said and done, much like Akira achieved his work dreams to be at the lead of Seoul when Vrains ended, it would not shock me if at the end of this season or at the end of this show, Mimi Itachi is running Goha Corporation when all the evil has been snuffed out of Goha. It would not shock me at all if Mimi, who has slowly become maybe the most important or second or third most important character outside of the main four, maybe behind Neil and Roa, it would not shock me if Mimi does become the president of Goha Corporation and changes things for the better when Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s is all said and done. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But the thing that was just so fascinating, Mimi ends up losing to her son YuGiOh. YuGiOh summons this awesome convoy lion gorilla monster, this monster that's just driving this massive convoy. It was the coolest freaking thing, man. One of my favorite monsters so far in this show. And YuGiOh gets the victory, but Yuga's team gets their first loss. And when I was watching live, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god, Neil is a genius. He knew that Mimi was compromised. He knew this was going to happen. This was an amazing, masterful play on the part of Neil to give Team Yuga a free loss. But my opinion on that changed a little bit after watching the episode again and watching it with subs, most importantly, because Yuga, and at this point in the show, I believe everything that Yuga says. Every time Yuga makes an observation, it's probably factual, just given how intelligent of a character he is. Yuga makes note that Neil did not do this on purpose, and that Neil wouldn't really do that because it messed with his providence or something along those lines. And the way I interpreted that scene is that Mimi comes to Neil at the beginning of this episode or middle of this episode and says, I want to duel Yuga. I want to duel that team because I want to keep working up the ladder at Goha and continue to achieve my dreams. And Neil at that point says, sure. I don't think Neil realized or thought that Mimi was compromised. It just was kind of a fun bonus for him when it happened at the end. Like, I really don't think, like, maybe Neil knew that the system might give Mimi a loss, but I don't think he didn't go out of his way to set up a match that no matter what, he was going to win. Mimi literally came to him. He didn't recruit Mimi because he knew that Mimi was going to end up, even if she won or lost, it was going to be a loss for Team Yuga. I just think that he kind of wanted Mimi to explore her own path and her own dreams and just said, yeah, sure, I have no problem with it. And then it ended up working out for him really well. But it was another scene at the end of this episode that continues to show the parallels and mutual understanding and even respect to a degree that Yuga and Neil are starting to have for each other. And that was a really cool scene at the end. And of course, Mimi, says, please don't tell YuGiOh. I can't leave Goha. I'm going to continue to work for Goha, but I'm happy that you guys consider me a friend. And Mimi drives off. Of course, at the beginning of the duel, they knew immediately who Mimi was because of her deck, even though she had that Goha outfit on. Everyone but Rook, and Rook is just a very clueless character, so it kind of fit his character pretty well that he did not know what was going on. But all in all, one of the deeper and, at least for me, most impactful episode that we have had for Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. Also, the fact that there is a system out there that is able to detect where your true intentions lie. Because remember, the system is what detected that Mimi's true intentions were with Team Yuga. That is really creepy. I saw someone say that's some Big Brother stuff. It absolutely is. Goha really has their claws in the town and the citizens, maybe even more than we realize. So that was very creepy that there is a program out there that is able to do that. And again, honestly, just a really enjoyable episode. But of course, I want to hear from you guys. Please let me know your thoughts on episode 20. Crazy that we are already through 20 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. I am really excited to hear from all of you. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Panther J, Blue Maiden 28, Jarrett Buller, and Aura Dragon. And to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, Pegasus Seiya, and Anime Kaput. And to my Egyptian God tier patrons, Stella Sky, Chase Connelly, and 10th Emperor. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who is a YouTube channel member. You guys help me out so much, and you all are amazing. Thank you to everyone who just watches my videos as well, because without you guys, I would not be able to do this. I stream over on Twitch. I stream on YouTube. Definitely follow me on Twitch if you don't already. I will have my link to all of those sites down below, all my socials down below, and I hope to catch you in one of my live streams, whether it be over on Twitch or on YouTube. Thank you all so much for watching. I will talk to you down below, and I hope you have an amazing day.